They say you die twice, one time when you stop breathing, and a second time a bit later on when somebody says your name for the last time.
The trouble started a week ago when I started playing around with one of those AI generators that's been floating around on the internet. Normally, I would stay away from such things because I have a deep resentment towards anything to do with AI or deepfakes and the like. I find it all repulsive. Once, while scrolling through Instagram, I saw a Tom Cruise impressionist who had put a deep fake of the actor's face onto his own. It was startling and disturbing. It wasn't how much he looked like the real Tom Cruise that bothered me. It was how much he didn't look like the real thing. He looked like something wearing another man's face. But people in the comment sections were eating it up, and some even believed he was Tom Cruise. A lot of them believed it. They couldn't see how fake it all was, and how wrong it was for that impressionist to put another person's face over his own. I can't help but think something bad is going to come out of all of this one day for our society. Not that it matters much for me. I'm probably going to die soon. No, not probably. I'm sure of it. I can hear him outside, even as I type this. The AI image generator hooked me. It was simple. You can give it a prompt and it would produce an image of that prompt. I had seen similar AI generators in the past, but what astounded me about this one is how specific the prompt could be. How the AI could produce almost anything you thought of in great detail. The images I saw floating online made me laugh. So I decided to bite the bullet. Sure, the Tom Cruise thing was creepy, as was the potential for that kind of technology in the wrong hands. But this was harmless fun, right? Not even remotely the same sort of thing. A stupid generator making stupid images for you. When I brought up the site, I sat long and hard about the first prompt I wanted to give the generator. Then I remembered a story my father told me once about how, when he was in college, he visited Karachi, Pakistan with his world studies class. He told me that one night when he and his classmates were walking around the city, they came across a man who was playing chess with a dog. Not pretending to play, but really playing with him. And my father told me that when they walked past the man again an hour later, that the man was shaking his head, that he looked beyond frustrated, defeated. But the dog looked happy, grinning even. The dog had apparently won. I typed dog playing chess into the generator and hit enter. It started loading, and after a few minutes the generator produced an image. It was an image of a dog playing chess. It even had a stupid smile on its face. I laughed. A stupid generator making stupid images. I told myself I would only spend a few more minutes playing, but those minutes quickly turned into an hour, and when I next looked at the clock, I realized I had spent almost 2.5 hours playing around with the generator. I won't waste your time by showing you all the images I created. They are as stupid as you'd expect. I was about to close the tab when another prompt came into my head. If I told you this prompt came out of nowhere, that would be a lie. I know exactly where it came from. It came from the fact that about 3 months ago, one of my co-workers had died. His name was Jeremy. He was a good guy and even managed to get promoted in my office despite only working there for a couple of months at that point. Jeremy was what you call a real go-getter, the kind of guy who gave it 110% at all phases in his life. He had big aspirations to go along with the big cup of coffee he drank every morning, a cup that had "World's Best Jeremy" written on it. And all that was wiped out when he forgot to look both ways while crossing the road. He got taken out by a semi-truck. Jeremy's death struck me hard, not just because it was the death of a fellow coworker, but because it made me realize how fragile life is. If a guy like Jeremy could get taken out, what did that mean for someone like me? How much borrowed time was a schmuck like me really on? If Jeremy had only looked both ways, or if he had somehow known what was going to happen before it happened. I typed, "How am I going to die?" into the generator and hit enter. The generator started loading and kept loading and loading. It was taking a very long time, much longer than any other prompts. I began to feel foolish, thinking I had finally managed to give it a broken prompt. I mean, of course I did. It had been a profoundly stupid prompt. There was no way the generator could know how. It produced an image. It was an image of an old man in a yellow hat. I laughed when I saw it, though it wasn't the same kind of laughter that the other generated images had gotten out of me. It was nervous laughter, scared laughter. Maybe you laughed too when you looked at the image, right? Be honest, it's okay. It's just a stupid generator producing stupid images, after all, right? Still, the image did bother me. The old man's frown, those sunken eyes, and that pale complexion. In the back of my head, I thought of that creepy Tom Cruise deep fake, how the comments were convinced of its legitimacy. I decided I had enough and closed the tab. My prompt had simply confused the generator, and it produced a random incoherent image. That's all. It had been stupid for me to even ask that damn question in the first place. What did I expect? An actual answer? Obviously, an AI generator had no idea how I was going to die. I saw the old man the very next day. This was 6 days ago. I had been running errands downtown and had quickly forgotten about the image from the night before. It had faded away from my memory like a bad dream. It was an overcast day and it looked like a really bad storm was coming. I could see huge purple clouds in the distance. As I was walking to my car, I got this uncomfortable feeling that someone was watching me. When I looked back, I saw the old man in a yellow hat. It was unmistakably him. He had the same bright yellow hat, the same deep frown, the pale skin, and those horrible sunken eyes. He was across the street and he was staring at me. No, that's not it. He was glaring at me. I mean, really glaring at me. And his hands were opening and closing in a slow, violent motion. He began to walk towards me. He walked in a strange manner, like someone who had never walked before and was only just learning how. Like something that was only pretending to be human, pretending to wear an old man's face. And I spotted a funny thing. No one else seemed to notice him. People walked past him without giving him a second glance. As he crossed the road, I thought for sure he was going to get hit by a car. But he weaved through traffic like some grotesque version of Frogger. And no driver paid him any mind, not even a single honk. Morbidly, I thought of Jeremy getting hit by that semi-truck. There was one other person that noticed him. It was a little girl who looked right at the old man and then began crying. The little girl's mom looked up to see if she could spot what caused her daughter to become so distraught, but not once did her eyes land on the old man. He walked past her like a ghost, and as he got closer to me, that deep frown began to turn upwards into a horrible grin. I dropped my groceries, got in my car, and drove straight home. On the way, I told myself I had only been seeing things. When I got home, I immediately locked all the doors and bolted my room. I brought up the AI generator and again asked it, how am I going to die? I needed the generator to produce a new image. I needed it to show me that the image of the old man had just been a random image it had conjured, and that now it would do that again. It would create something completely random because it didn't understand my question. Couldn't have possibly understood my question. Couldn't have possibly shown me anything real. And certainly couldn't have shown me how I was going to die. It produced the same image of the old man. I asked again, same image. I asked it about 50 more times, and every time it was the same image of the old man in the yellow hat. Stupid generator making stupid images, right? Only that the thing that had been walking towards me hadn't been stupid. That thing looked very real and terrifying. I haven't left my house since that day. 2 nights ago, I saw the old man outside my bedroom window, glaring at me. Last night, I heard him try the front door, then walk around the back and try the back door. Today, I brought up the generator and typed, "How do I stop the old man in the yellow hat?" It started loading, and then immediately replied, "Too much traffic. Try again later." But I know if I try again, I'll just get the same response. It's not going to tell me. I am paralyzed by fear. Paralyzed by those sunken eyes and ghostly complexion. I can hear him outside right now as I type. He's been there the entire time. He's walking around the back of the house. There, he just tried the back door again. This is your buddy Darkness, and remember, darkness is only a switch away.